So before I kick this video off, I just want to let you know that I put the video into parts, so if you're looking for specific information, or maybe you're just not interested in all of it, you can skip to those certain parts. So pause the video here if you want to look for a part, or just wait a few seconds and the video will start. Cheers. Hey there, my name is Ben, I'm 18 and the oldest of 3 boys who absolutely love video games. When I was younger I obsessed over video games even though I never actually owned a console, and then I got given a second-hand PlayStation 1 and I pretty much fell in love with it. My mum tried to limit my playtime, but it was pretty evident that I became addicted to it, and her course of action probably wasn't the one that most people would have taken, but she made me smash my own console with a hammer, and then we sort of gave it a few years until I was a bit older and I could handle playing games a bit better. And here I am today, and I still love video games as much as I did back then. And we're in 2013 now, and video games, their content and the way we play them have actually changed a lot since I was playing them, which wasn't that long ago, but you know, they still changed considerably. And now more than ever, you guys, parents, that's who this video is aimed at, need to be as tech savvy as you possibly can to keep up with the kids and try and be aware of what your children are actually consuming. So the most important thing I want anyone to take away from this video is that video games, like most good things in life, are to be consumed in moderation. This statement is not exclusive to video games, but letting your child sit alone in front of any sort of television, phone or computer for a prolonged time has its negative effects. And video games are one of the most incredible mediums of the 21st century. Games have proven to be beneficial for hand-eye coordination, improved dexterity and multitasking. They can relieve stress and pain, it can increase IQ, and probably one of the most surprising facts is that video games can improve your eyesight by 20%. Video games can be used as a tool to spark imagination and creativity within children. They provide a platform for bonding, socializing and character building. They can tell epic tales of fantastical heroes, allow you to race at breakneck speeds in supercars, or turn my dad into a 10-year-old child when it comes to breaking paddles with a beach ball on the Xbox Kinect. I'm sure at some point or another you've read, heard or watched something about the dangers of video games, and for the most part gamers and the games industry will tell you that there are no dangers to video games, where anti-video game people will tell you that there are dangers to them. Both sides will say here's a report, there's a report, this is a fact, here's a statistic, and the only real truth in it is that we don't have enough information yet to conclude on whether or not video games are dangerous. So let's take alcohol for example. If you drink a lot of it, and I mean a lot, it can actually just kill you, or drinking loads over a prolonged time can, you know, severely harm you, but having a glass of wine with a meal can actually be beneficial for you. But we only know this through hundreds of years of research, and through this research we have placed rules and regulations to keep people safe and knowledgeable about what they consume. For argument's sake, we'll say that video games really started to kick off in the early 70s. Video games have not even been around for 50 years yet, and due to major advancements in technology over this period in time, it's hard to even compare the latest Call of Duty with an arcade classic like Pac-Man. This makes studying video games extremely hard. They're constantly changing, there are tons of different genres and themes, and they're played by all ages. So when you see a study or hear a fact about the effects of video games on people, please take it with a pinch of salt. Recently, a US senator said we need to conduct tests on the effect that violent video games have on children. These statements are grossly misinformed. We already know that violence, sexual themes, drugs and bad language are not suitable for children, regardless if it's in a film, book, song or a video game. So with this in mind, let's move on to actually buying video games for your children. Now, when you're picking up a game, the first thing you want to do is have a look at the official rating. Just like films, video games have governing bodies that decide an age rating based on the game's content. The main two bodies are the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB, that's for America, and the Pan-European Game Information for Europe, also known as PEGI. If you live outside of these boards, hop onto a search engine and have a look at your regional equivalent. These rating systems are not to be taken lightly. If a game says it's created for an 18+ audience, it's not just because it's got a few guns in. In fact, it's illegal to sell adult games to minors. Supermarkets and game retailers will ID you even if you look of age. For children to get hold of violent video games, they need adults to purchase them for them. Both boards do a fantastic job of giving you the necessary information on the game's box, and better yet, you can hop onto their websites and do a little search for the game's title. It'll bring up all the relevant information that will help you when purchasing a game for your child. Remember that games can be deceptive. If you take a glance at Grand Theft Auto for example, you might see a wonderful detailed city and someone cruising around in a fancy car. This looks pretty harmless until they mow down 50 people on the sidewalk and open fire onto the police. This is why ratings are essential to your purchase. Now, ratings are not the only part of buying video games for your child. I highly recommend you start reading game reviews. They'll give you more than enough information about the game in hand, and more importantly, whether it's good or not. There are tons of websites and blogs that specifically focus on video games for children, and they're often written by parents for parents. My favourite of all these is definitely familyfriendlyvideogames.com. They do these video game report cards that are exceptionally laid out with pros, cons, ratings and official information. The link will be in the article with a few other sites you can check out as well. Keep in mind that children will always want to see the horror movie, listen to music with swearing in and play adult themed video games, and that Daniel's parents down the road always let him stay up late and play Call of Duty. It's your job as a parent not only to stop them from playing unsuitable games, but find them a fun and interesting alternative. And this brings me on to playing games with your children. I can't stress this point enough. Not only can you supervise your child or children while playing a game, but it's a fantastic bonding time. Games for multiple players really bring families together. And if you've never given games a chance, you may find you end up enjoying it more than your kids will. Some of my favourite memories of my childhood were playing Colin McRae Rally with my granddad. Teaching him how to play, racing against him and watching him enjoying something I introduced him to gave me a great sense of pride. He may only have played for 20 minutes with me, but it meant a lot. And in more recent years, my family sat down and played the motion-controlled Xbox Kinect, and though my dad was reluctant to play at first, we generally couldn't get him off the game. He was having so much fun. So whether it's dancing, racing, sports or anything else, just sit down with your children and enjoy the experience. So now that internet accessibility is cheap and easy, many video games come with an online multiplayer mode. Playing with people from all over the world is wonderful. I've met and spoke to some really nice people over the years purely through online games. Unfortunately, the anonymous and often competitive nature of online games have spawned extremely unsuitable environments for children. An online match of Call of Duty will often feature adults, teenagers and children abusing, threatening and generally being disgustingly nasty to each other through their headsets. As an avid gamer, it disheartens me to hear young children using and being subjected to that behaviour. It's a sad reality with online services. I would strongly recommend not allowing your child on Xbox Live, PlayStation Network or any other online service. Regardless of the game's rating, online is a free-for-all with no real rules or regulations. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are online multiplayer games specifically designed for children that ban all types of profanity and are consistently moderated to assure your child's safety. I'd recommend checking out Club Penguin, Moshi Monsters and Marvel Superhero Squad online. So you can take precautions to what games your child plays by just not buying those games, but what about the other features on these games consoles, computers and smart devices? Well, almost every major device comes with parental controls. It allows you to customize what your child can or cannot access on that device. These settings are great because they often work with passwords or specific accounts, meaning older members of the family can utilize all of the device's features by using a PIN or password, but it stops the younger ones from accessing inappropriate content. I'll link some of the tutorials on how to set up parental controls for the most popular platforms, but you can always hop on a search engine and find in-depth tutorials on these settings. So just some other things to look out for. Children love these free online flash games. They're sort of silly browser-based games. They're often pretty simple but fun. But be aware which sites they visit. A lot of them contain mature games and adware aimed at adults. Also be aware that smartphones and smart devices are small computers. Children can still access the majority of bad content they can on their PCs, so be wary before allowing them a personal iPad or phone, and remember to always go over the parental settings first. So to conclude, video games present many wonderful opportunities for children. With the right console and games you can enjoy rich, educating experiences with your kids without having to worry about the content or adverse effects adult games may cause. I hope you enjoyed this guide of sorts. Please share this with friends and families and always remember that video games are meant for fun, so just enjoy them. I've been Ben and thanks a lot for watching.